January 2nd, 2026. The city of Caracas was cloaked in darkness, its skyline glittering under a quiet, cloudless sky. The air was still, and the city's usual nighttime hum was slowly fading away, replaced by a rare, peaceful silence. Caracas was winding down for the night. Streets that were once bustling with life now lay empty, and the only sounds were the distant echoes of laughter and the occasional bark of a dog. Residents settled into their homes, expecting nothing more than another ordinary night. Suddenly, just after 10 p.m., the calm was shattered. A series of violent explosions erupted in the distance, their thunderous booms echoing across the city and lighting up the night sky with terrifying flashes. Buildings trembled, windows rattled in their frames, and confusion swept through every neighborhood. People froze, unsure of what was happening, their hearts pounding in their chests. Was it an accident? An attack? The blasts came in rapid succession, each one seeming closer and louder than the last, sending shockwaves of fear through the city. Panic erupted almost instantly. Car alarms blared, dogs barked wildly, and people rushed to their balconies and windows, searching the night sky for answers, desperate to understand what was unfolding. Reports began pouring in from every corner of Caracas, each one more frantic than the last. The fear and mystery only grew as emergency vehicles raced through the streets, their sirens piercing the night. Social media exploded with shaky cell phone videos and terrified voices, capturing the chaos and confusion as people tried to make sense of the disaster unfolding around them. Families huddled together in their living rooms, anxiously scrolling through news feeds, desperate for any scrap of information that could explain the terrifying events of the night. The city soon fell into an eerie, uneasy silence, broken only by the wail of distant alarms and the occasional bark of a frightened dog. The tension was palpable, hanging heavy in the air. No one knew what had happened or if the danger had truly passed. Faces pressed against windows, eyes wide with fear and uncertainty, as the city waited for any sign of what would come next. Caracas held its breath, suspended in a long, tense night, waiting for the first light of dawn, and for the answers that everyone so desperately needed. The first explosion hit at 10:07 p.m., shaking the eastern and central districts. Residents thought it was an earthquake, but the sharp aerial booms told a different story. Emergency lines were jammed, but no one had answers. Two more blasts followed within minutes, each from a different part of the city. Power outages swept through neighborhoods, plunging thousands into darkness. With TV news cut off, people turned to radios and phones, rumors spreading fast. By 10:30, the explosions stopped, but the fear lingered. Caracas was left in shock, its sense of security shattered in just 20 minutes. The city waited, uncertain if the worst was over. On that unforgettable night, ordinary people suddenly became the city's reporters, capturing every moment as chaos unfolded around them. They shared raw, unfiltered accounts of the night, their voices trembling as they described what they saw and heard. "It wasn't a tremor, it was a huge boom right above us," said Maria Rodriguez from Chacao, her eyes wide with fear as she recalled the moment. "My kids screamed. We dropped to the floor, not knowing what was next. The walls shook, and for a second, I thought the whole building might collapse." Others described a strange, whistling sound before the blasts, a noise that sent chills down their spines and fueled wild speculation about what was happening. "It sounded like something flying low, then boom," recalled Carlos, who was walking his dog. "The ground shook, and my dog started barking like crazy." Within seconds, the streets emptied. Drivers froze in their cars, headlights flickering as they tried to decide whether to stay or flee. Phones buzzed with frantic messages. Was it a transformer? A gas line? Something worse? Social media exploded with rumors, each more terrifying than the last. "Nobody knew what to believe," said Ana Sofia, a student near the city center. "Everyone was scared, and the uncertainty made it worse." The city was paralyzed, people hiding, waiting, listening for the next explosion. Every creak and distant siren made hearts race. "I stayed in my car, it felt safer than outside. a taxi driver told a radio station, his voice shaking as he described the eerie silence that followed. The night dragged on, fear growing with every minute of silence. Time seemed to slow, each second stretching into eternity as people waited for answers. Caracas was united by terror, each person clinging to scraps of information, desperate for any news that might explain the chaos. The city would never forget that night, a night when fear and confusion brought everyone together, and the memory of those terrifying hours would linger for years to come. Amid the chaos, some residents reported seeing low-flying aircraft, jets or drones, just before the explosions. These sightings, mostly near military zones like Fuerte Tiuna, fueled rumors of a military operation or attack. No official confirmation ever came, leaving only speculation. The power outages seemed targeted, hitting the same areas as the blasts and alleged aircraft. Was it sabotage or just collateral damage? No one knew. The combination of explosions, blackouts, and mysterious aircraft created a perfect storm of fear. With no official data or explanations, the city was left piecing together a puzzle in the dark. The truth remained elusive, lost in the confusion of that night. As the night wore on, the government's silence was deafening. No emergency broadcasts, no statements, just regular programming on state TV. In the absence of facts, rumors flourished. Was it a coup? Foreign sabotage? An accident? Every shaky video and anonymous audio clip became evidence. No official word on casualties, damage, or even the locations of the blasts. The lack of information only deepened distrust and anxiety. In a city desperate for answers, silence became its own kind of terror. Caracas was left to wonder, did the government not know or not want to say? The explosions instantly drew global attention, with news outlets around the world scrambling to cover the unfolding events. All of this was set against years of US-Venezuela tension. Accusations and suspicions flew. Maduro's government has long blamed foreign enemies for crises, fueling a climate of distrust and uncertainty. The US and others watched warily, monitoring every development closely, denying involvement but bracing for fallout and possible escalation. Instability in Venezuela has regional and global consequences, affecting neighboring countries and international interests, from migration to energy markets and beyond. The blasts became a flashpoint, but facts remained scarce and rumors spread quickly. As of now, there's no evidence linking any foreign actor to the explosions. The world's eyes are on Caracas, but speculation outpaces truth. The stakes are high, but the answers are few, and uncertainty lingers in the air. As dawn broke over Caracas, the city felt transformed, its spirit anxious, its people exhausted, and everyone searching desperately for answers in the pale morning light. The familiar skyline seemed changed, as if the city itself was holding its breath, waiting for what would come next. Streets that once bustled with life were now eerily quiet. People moved with caution, glancing over their shoulders, and every conversation was dominated by the terror and confusion of the night before. The government's silence persisted, with official buildings closed and no word from leaders. This lack of communication only fueled the growing fear and frustration among the population. Parents clung to their children, worried for their safety. Business owners stood in empty shops, uncertain if they would ever reopen. Families gathered around televisions, anxiously watching for any scrap of news. The line between fact and rumor blurred as conflicting headlines and frantic social media posts made the truth nearly impossible to find. Misinformation spread quickly, deepening the city's sense of unease. Journalists and citizens alike gathered outside government buildings, demanding answers that never came. The silence from officials only made the calls for truth louder and more urgent. Around the world, news outlets turned their attention to Caracas. International journalists set up cameras, and global audiences watched, waiting for any sign of stability or the threat of further chaos. The story of the explosions was just beginning to unfold. Emergency vehicles raced through the city, and crowds gathered at the sites, searching for answers. The outcome remained uncertain, and fear lingered in the air. For now, Caracas could only wait, its people hoping that the next sound they heard would be the truth, not another blast echoing through the city's tense silence. The city's long night was far from over. As darkness returned, uncertainty and fear lingered, and the hope for answers remained just out of reach. Out of